Good evening, televiewers. Many thanks for joining us on Thursday's edition of Prime News over My Media Prime TV. It is the 16th day of February and we're broadcasting live from Fengudron Mbange Koto in Douala. The population of the far north Adamawa, as well as the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon have been called upon to drive carefully and protect their eyes and noses following a plump of dust blowing from the Sahara desert. The information is contained in a press release signed on February 13 or 15, 2023 by the Minister of Transport. Ivona read through that press release and now tells us more.
Cameroon's Minister of Transport, Ernest Ngale, has raised alarms of an enormous plume of dust from the Sahara Desert, which is threatening to sweep through the northern part of the country. The information was made known through a press release dated Wednesday, February 15, 2023, and signed by Transport Minister Ernest Ngale. According to the release, the Harmattan wind is currently crossing the far north region, with the North and Adamawa regions as well as the Menchum and Momo divisions of the northwest region and the Manyu division of the southwest region at risk of being affected by the plume of dust in the days ahead. The release equally notes that if the forecast wind conditions are maintained, the dust will cause a significant reduction in visibility, which can result in traffic accidents and respiratory diseases following inhalation of dust, just to name a few. The minister is therefore calling on the population concerned to drive carefully and appropriately protect their noses and eyes from the dust. He furthers that within the next 48 hours, the concerned populations are invited to follow the evolution of this extreme meteorological phenomenon on the website of the Department of National Meteorology in order to get updated with changes. It should be noted this is not the first time this is happening in the country, as each year Cameroon experiences Harmattan wind from the Sahara from the north to south of the country.
The German ambassador to Cameroon, Dr. Corinna Fricke, says Germany is working with Cameroon for a peaceful resolution of the northwest and southwest conflicts from inside the Cameroonian society. She answered a question from My Media Prime TV's Bo Elvis about the role of Germany in helping Cameroon in its part towards peace. Take a listen.
We need peace, and conflict has to be solved, and I think it's a great, a big task for the Cameroonian society, and I know many people are engaged in solving the crisis. Last week I met the Prime Minister and I know he is engaged. The Minister of Family was there. There are many humanitarian groups, many people from civil society who are engaged, and it's very important that they find a solution. But it has to be solved from inside the Cameroonian society, and I can say that Germany is on your side.
In a related story, the National Convention of Cameroon Women for Peace has launched a policy paper to push for a return to peace in the crisis-hit regions of Cameroon. The policy paper, Peace by Peace, Building Peace in Cameroon Through Women's Action, is a mix of facts and figures, experience on ground, as well as voices from the grassroots, especially from women who live and work in affected communities. Bo Elvis now tells us more.
The publication Peace by Peace, Building Peace in Cameroon Through Women's Action is the fruit of 1 year's work by members of the Cameroon Women's Convention for Peace, an initiative supported by the government of Cameroon.
I think a book is extremely important because everybody cannot follow the media, the radio, the TV. And when you have a book, you can read it and then share it with others. Storytelling, so it's a very good way of communicating. And I'm pleading that each one of you gets that book, reads it, and then shares it so that everyone can contribute to the peace-building process in our nation.
The publication covers 5 points in the Women's Call for Peace, international dimensions, continued dialogue, women, peace and security, psychological support and trauma healing, as well as DDR centers.
It says we are building peace, piece by piece. It means that women have an important role to play when it comes to peace building, and we do not do it as people we think. We do it the women's way, keep to the women's narrative, and carry out actions one after the other, evaluating, reflecting, and then carrying out other actions which will lead to the desired results.
The Freddy Shebet Stiftung has been instrumental in the compilation of the policy paper.
Yes, I'm very confident that with this publication we are going to have an impact, because it's one small step after many steps that we've already taken, and I think the road to peace is a long and stony road, and we have to move every day, and this will be just another small milestone until we get there, because I mean, we cannot think that immediate action will resolve a crisis that has root causes which last for decades, but I'm very optimistic that we have another little piece of the mosaic today.
Previously, the National Platform of Women Peace Builders organized 2 conventions and women's peace negotiations, during which the Ethical Peace Pact, Principles of Peace Negotiation and the Cameroon Peace Treaty were compiled.
Over to the southwest region, where a suspected drug dealer has been arrested in Kumba, Meme Division, applauding the collaboration between the population and forces of law and order. The senior divisional officer for Meme said the fight for a drug-free Meme Division remains a priority. Jatu Derek reports.
Jean Clovis is a merchant in Kumba, a town that he was born and bred. And here are his merchandise now exhibited at the explanade of the Senior Divisional Officer's Office from Meme Division.
That one is marriage one, I think it's a marriage one. All those packages you see here. I don't know, Tramadol. Huh? It's Tramadol, no? This one is what the meaning of this one? Shisha.
His line of business is selling assorted drugs and has been in the same network of selling these drugs since 2002.
So I started selling India hemp since 2002. This is my first mistake that I've ever done in my life. They should just forgive me and consider my fight treatment for me.
One-on-one with Tundong Chamberlain, the Senior Divisional Officer for Meme Division.
When you see the rate of criminality, that you are not affected.
Jean Clovis begged for forgiveness and that he will not only repent but also assist the administration to denounce those in the illegal business of selling or even consuming the drugs in a Kumba that he knows too well.
I learned the business from other people. I'm not the first person that is doing the business.
That you are going to help me now to arrest the remaining one.
To the authorities of Meme Division, it has been a fight, and the consistency remains a priority for a drug-free Meme Division.
We will continue that fight. We cannot construct our country, our beloved country, with youth who are consuming drugs with the complicity of some elders. That one should stop.
From here, Jean Clovis will be charged accordingly in a court of law.
Let's stay in the southwest region to talk about 78 young boys picked up in a recent raid in Ekona by the military, who have been released, while 16 others are pending the completion of investigations. They were released yesterday evening in Boya. Emmanuel C. has been following the story and now reports.
The excitement seeing the sons released after a long day yesterday, demanding for this course. Out of the 80 young people arrested in Ekona over the weekend, 78 of them have been set free and are going back home with their parents. The young people, who have been in detention for over 3 days, say they have not eaten and are happy to be out. Honorable Findy Stanley, a member of parliament for the Moyoka constituency, advised the women to train and discipline their children so that Ekona can be safe again.
My 16 open, Moya open, Moliko open. Open, Nele Ekona lock. I will come for sick bed, I don't come. No, of course I'm gonna person. I don't come, don't live now. So now me I tell una to say, when I take the message, go say, medicine stop. May stop because me too, I want to stay for house. Me too, I want to go my farm.
Mothers whose children were still in detention weep in tears and frustration.
They move people, they leave people there. I don't struggle. They don't pay and another don't think cash again. They don't cash many times. Only so. They don't first they cash. They leave all them. They come out for no. I not pay no 25. They leave all them. The one and the second one dinner they leave for the way. I don't know why they leave.
It should be noted that Ekona women in Moyoka subdivision staged march protests to Boya to demand the release of these children who were picked up playing football in Ekona. The 16 others not released are pending investigation at Lejong in Boya.
Elsewhere in the northwest region, some separatist fighters from Awing subdivision Mezam division have surrendered their weapons at the Awing Gendarmerie post and have joined the Bamenda DDR Center under the coordination of Kum Henry. Darlington completes that story.
The 4 separatist ex-combatants who have recently joined the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Center in Bamenda, chief town of the northwest region, include General Grandpa, Shankira, Lastborn, and Brainbox, are from Awing in the Santa subdivision. The one-time separatist fighters have adhered to dropping their weapons as they are now ready to be integrated with the other ex-combatants at the center.
For the opportunity that you have given the Amber Boys to come out. So, the only thing that we get up to talk for contribute parents, you know, we beg that our brothers say may they come. Now fear be there, all with the fear. Say if we come, they will kill you. But you say and say no, it's not there.
It's not a force. It's a decision taken by you. A man is taking a decision. Maybe somebody force somebody. So I come for here. They say picking to do some mistake, it's correct. So I don't think say some certain thing they do what I don't do for life will not come way not correct. And I don't see what you are doing. So there been things on anger. So now I don't come now in reasonable. Now I decide to take myself. I think I'm bring up. Since the government be hell.
Meanwhile, Kum Henry Echu, Northwest Coordinator of the DDRC in Bamenda, has also lauded their bravery while adhering and also assuring the safety of the ex-combatants with a reminder of President Biya's amnesty to the boys.
Now me, I make up my mind because I don't suffer for all these years. I don't live for bush almost 3 years. I face all kind of shock and I suffer and me one. From the style of living, you know, the correct yourself for me. Yeah. Me, I see, I'm say the life where I will go on, you've been a wrong track for life. So if you shit for your power food, yeah, you therefore can't talk sorry for power. So you don't do it back. Me forgive you. Yeah. So I pray and I say, the place where I did so, since we are come for here, since we are entered for commandant the brigade for our week, I never ever be hurt. All the military they were they join them, would they like brothers. And then I pray and I say make my own brother there, they still there for bush. Make the reason we. Yeah, no say all man they make mistake for life. But some man of fear say they'll kill or they'll do one thing or another. Yeah, I pray and I say make all we come out for bush. Come reason we pa. Pa don't promise to take care of all.
Now on to something else. The Telecommunications Regulatory Board in Cameroon has warned MTN, Orange, Camtel and Nextel on the consequences of providing poor network to the population. The information is contained in a press release signed by the Director General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Board on February 13, 2023. Catherine Ekongwe read through that press release and files in this report.
MTN, Orange, Camtel and Vitel have been warned by the Telecommunications Regulatory Board on the consequences of supplying poor network to their clients. In a release dated February 13, 2023, the Telecommunications Regulatory Board has warned that the companies risks being banned from operating in Cameroon should they continue to provide poor network to their population. This warning comes after a series of workshops that were held between the 19th and the 21st of January 2023 in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. These workshops were aimed at optimizing the performance of these telecommunication networks as well as their plan of operation for the year 2023. The Telecommunications Regulatory Board had also put in place regulatory teams on the field to assess the quality internet rates supplied to Cameroonians on a daily basis. Meanwhile, Cameroonians in the past months have taken to social media severally to decry the poor nature of their internet and network connections.
Let's now talk health. In the fight against the Marburg virus, Public Health Minister Dr. Manahoda Malashi has chaired a consultation meeting to discuss Cameroon's level of preparedness and response strategy. Joy Gong tells us more.
On alert since February 9, 2023, Cameroon is intensifying efforts to strengthen its surveillance, preparedness and response strategy against the Marburg virus. During a consultation meeting held on February 14, 2023, Health Minister Dr. Manahoda Malashi revealed that Cameroon is fully ready to combat the Marburg virus disease within its territorial borders, despite there has been no confirmed case yet.
We have just two suspected cases in Olamze. So we do the investigation and we confirm that it's not a Marburg, it's only a malaria. So I think up to now, Cameroon don't notify any cases in our country. Meeting we held and we still running in our country is to actualize our plan response. So the epidemiological measure we put in place to fight against COVID-19 is updated, and I think it will be the main preventive measure we adopt.
Health personnel in Kiosi, Olamze and Ambam were lectured on infection control and prevention. Minister Manahoda Malashi congratulated the surveillance system of the Public Health Emergency Operations Coordination Center for its mobilization, even in times of calm, and especially for its spontaneity in the implementation of operations. He equally applauded the divisional officer of the Ntem Valley for his leadership in the management of the various teams. The Minister of Public Health called on all stakeholders to take necessary measures in their various sectors to block the possible importation of the Marburg disease from Equatorial Guinea.
This other health story, a childhood cancer survivor and her parent have shared their experiences to My Media Prime TV, telling how they struggled and battled cancer with a successful operation. They were speaking to My Media Prime TV yesterday on the event to commemorate the 2023 edition of International Childhood Cancer Day. Details right ahead.
Every year, more than 400,000 children and adolescents below 20 are diagnosed with cancer. The rate of survival depends on the region, with 80% survival in most high-income countries, but as low as 20% only in low and middle-income countries. At the event of the 2023 edition of the International Day of Childhood Cancer, a parent to a cancer survivor in Douala, economic capital of Cameroon, says life was tough when her baby girl was diagnosed of cancer.
It was not really easy when I discovered that was cancer, that she was having cancer. It was not easy with me during that time. I feel like I'm losing the child. I lost every hope about the child. I never knew that the child would stand back on her feet like this again. I never knew that they can heal the cancer. So it's really good.
3-year-old Treasure was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, a rare type of eye cancer that affects children, usually under 5. She had to be operated to be saved.
Yeah, she was operated. The operation went unsuccessfully. It went successfully. By the grace of God, it was not too expensive. God really favored me.
However, Treasure's mother says her baby faced lots of challenges when the disease was diagnosed.
Before, she was having challenges because she was just having one eye, and children were like too much looking at her. And she was complaining, "Mama, they're too much looking at my eye. They're only looking at me, and I'm not happy about it." After when we got the artificial eye, now everything's working.
In the midst of all the pain, the cancer survivor, who is barely 3, remains optimistic.
My name is Cherry, but I was sick. The death is my eye and the cancer.
In order to fight childhood cancer, the Chief Medical Officer of the Mbopi Mbingo Baptist Hospital, Douala, calls on all to...
That's what we are saying, that we have survivors in our setting, and the secret is to come early to the hospital when you have some abnormality that you have observed on the eyes, on the breast, on the neck, any swelling on abdomen, on testes. You come and you'll be able to do a biopsy that will help us to confirm the diagnosis and start treatment as early as possible.
Nonetheless, globally, more than 9 out of 10 children with the condition that mostly affects children are cured.
In more health news, the World Health Organization on the 15th of February 2023, during a press briefing about the recent Marburg virus outbreak in Equatorial Guinea, clarified the myth regarding the new epidemic as not being same with Ebola virus disease. The Marburg virus is said to be spreading rapidly and has taken the lives of about 10 persons in Equatorial Guinea, with 150 more new cases recorded. Bukengo Uwadi with details.
Fever, chills, headache, myalgia, rashes that are prominent on the chest, back, stomach, nausea, vomiting, chest pain, a sore throat, abdominal pain, diarrhea and more are some symptoms linked to the deadly Marburg virus.
Marburg is a very different virus to the one that caused COVID-19. But many of the elements of the response are the same: isolating and caring for those infected, tracing and quarantining their contacts, and engaging local communities in the response.
Bearing complications such as jaundice, inflammation of the pancreas, severe weight loss, delirium, shock, liver failure, hemorrhage, multi-organ dysfunction, amongst others, Dr. Tedros says,
"This is the first known case of Marburg in West Africa. WHO and our partners are supporting Guinea's Ministry of Health to investigate the source of the outbreak, trace contacts, and inform the local community about how to protect themselves. About 150 contacts have been identified and are being followed up, including 3 family members and a health worker who have been identified as high-risk close contacts."
He reiterates on the fact that
there is no licensed vaccine for Marburg, although there are vaccines under development. And WHO is working with our partners to seek opportunities to assess them during this outbreak through the R&D blueprint for epidemics.
to this regard, isolation, quarantine, caring for those infected, tracing infected cases while engaging in effective barrier response with local communities are some ways to help reduce spread, protect oneself and loved one, from contacting the Marburg virus.
Worthy reporting there. Now this feature story, domestic violence prevention has become imperative as the society continues to witness an increase which has led to the death of some individuals. In the following report, Julian Dambi caught up with some marriage and relationship experts who now educate couples on how to enjoy a relationship free from violence despite challenges. Take a listen.
Recently, the rate of domestic violence or intimate partner violence in today's society is becoming a major concern, and according to marriage and relationship coaches, it usually stems from people not being able to understand what the institution of marriage is all about.
Marriage is a destiny, which means if you're choosing whom to get married to, you know this person I'm choosing is the person with whom I want to make my life. I want to have children with. I want to make destiny with this person. The rest of my life, I'm living it with this person. It's supposed to be a lifetime experience, so you must be able to choose and decide. It's a destiny. Marriage to God is a covenant. It means that when you've gotten into this covenant, it is not a covenant you don't want to get up and break at any time. So you must be committed to keeping the terms of that covenant. Every covenant has terms.
Now, in order to avoid letting misunderstandings in marriage or any romantic relationship lead to domestic violence, which can in the worst case scenario result in the loss of lives as it has been the case in recent times, experts say individuals should embrace understanding and tolerance amongst other peaceful resolutions to their problems.
First thing is to understand that the person you're getting married to is not perfect. There are no perfect couples on earth, and we should be ready at all costs to bear the excesses, the weaknesses, and the frailties of each other. If we are unable to do that, then we are not ripe enough to get married. The issue is we capitalize more on the weaknesses of people than their strength. This is the reason why we're challenging you that those vows you took not just for good times, you took for bad times. You took not just for good character, you took also for the bad character. You did not also take only for nice times, you took also for worse times. And it was a vow till death do you part. Now that you are still alive, you are not dead, why do you want to part ways? It's because you have refused to commit yourself to the confession you made before God, before the altar of God, before the priest, before the congregation. So we urge you.
While misunderstandings are a part of life and relationships, it is said that people must be able to learn the skill of emotional intelligence in order for it to last.
When it comes to emotional intelligence, the ability to control your temperaments, there are different kinds of IQs. For instance, there's IQ, which is intelligent quotient. That has been overemphasized because you go to school to acquire intelligent quotient. But you see, there are some things in life that intelligent quotient cannot solve. People with first-class degree from the university, some with masters and PhD, still beat their wives and kill them. It's to let you understand that IQ does not solve problems.
Individuals are therefore called upon to be more patient and understanding with their partners in order to put domestic violence at bay, which has a profound impact even on the society.
On to sports news. Cameroon's lone representative at the CAF Champions League will tomorrow host Mamelodi Sundowns in the set competition at the Rumde Ajia Stadium. Magdala Eyong Bison gives us details of the match preview in the following report.
Kotongspor FC of Garoua will host South African giants Mamelodi Sundowns in a Group B game at the Rumde Ajia Stadium on Friday, February 18. Kotongspor's first group game against Al Ali of Egypt was pushed forward to early March due to the involvement of the Egyptian side in the 2023 FIFA Club World Cup. Sundowns on their part urged Sudan's Al Hilal club 1-0 to set up a date with Cameroon's lone representative at the CAF Champions League. Friday's game will be the first ever meeting between the two clubs. As a matter of fact, it will be the first time Kotongspor will be facing a South African opponent at the CAF Interclub club competition. The Cottonites have played games on South African soil this season, but it was Royal Leopards FC of Eswatini who hosted in a neighboring country. Mamelodi Sundowns on their part have also never played a Cameroonian club in this competition. Cottonsport defeated Madlama FC 4-0 on aggregate to go past the first preliminary round in September 2022. The 17-time Cameroon League winners won 3-0 away in Lesotho thanks to a goal from Brandon Eno Maruswaibu and the Trompi Kokolo, and then held Royal Leopards of Eswatini to a 1-1 draw. For Sundowns, they were exempted from the first preliminary round and only came in the second round against Seychelles. Cottonsport's biggest success in the CAF Champions League was reaching the finals of the 2008 edition. Cottonsport had finished top of Group B that had the likes of Al Hilal, Tepe Mazembe and Enyimba to set a final Group A leaders, Al Ali of Egypt. Sundowns on their part won the CAF Champions League in 2016 when they defeated Egyptian side Zamalek in the finals. Coach Gabriel Haman and his team have intensified training in Garoua as they get set to welcome Sundowns.
Huge thanks for your keen and kind attention, televiewers. That concludes today's edition of Prime News over My Media Prime TV. For presentation, I have been Sama Eileen. The news was produced by Nsungkikang Eli Ewane and compiled by Faith Tata. Have a blessed evening. Stay tuned to more amazing programs coming up tonight on My Media Prime TV. Bye for now and blessed night.